Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today our show is the Michigan Protection and Advocacy Service Incorporated. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today our show is the Michigan Protection and Advocacy Services Incorporated. And our guest is Director of Public Policy, Tom Massaw. Hi, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Good. Now, Tom, the name Michigan Protection Advocacy Services Incorporated. That's a long name. Okay. Tell us what that name, or tell us about the organization and your role there.
Well, you're right. It's a very long name. It's a mouthful for anybody to say. So we have all sorts of acronyms: Protection and Advocacy Services, MPNA, or MPAS. It just runs the gamut on all sorts of acronyms. But one of the things that that we do is we're the state mandated agency that advocates for people with disabilities, meaning housing, employment, education, everything. Every state and territory in the country has a protection and advocacy service set up by the federal government, and in Michigan we are that agency.
Okay, now a lot of people probably don't have a clue that you really exist unless they're connected with what kind of agencies?
Mental health,
Okay.
The Department of Community Health, Community Mental Health Services, Michigan Rehab Services, or if they just hear it word of mouth, sometimes we'll get referrals through their state legislators. Will call us and ask for help in dealing with their constituents, so we'll help out that way. So it just mainly word of mouth and brochures that come around.
Okay. Now your role there?
I am, like you mentioned, the Director of Public Policy, and what that is I coordinate in all of our legislative activities. From monitoring to analyzing to testifying on a state level. We have a whole host of issues that we're following, and I coordinate that and make sure that we're aware of all the various issues that are out there that affect the people we serve.
Okay. So when you say the issues themselves, is it like so many people have called in and complained about a certain thing, or certain issues have come up repeatedly and people are like, we got to address this? How's it?
Yeah, we look at it on a systemic level. So what we do is every year we look at our callers who call in and their particular issues. And if we have a lot of issues come up dealing with, for example, abuse and neglect, then that is something that we would focus on legislatively. And also legislators will just introduce bills that deal with people with disabilities, and we'll follow those as well. But mainly we're trying to change the system and making it easier for people to be in the community and enjoy their daily activities.
Now I hear a lot of complaints about housing. Okay, so when it comes to housing, what would be something, can you give me an example of a particular situation dealing with housing?
One would be accessibility. Someone who lives in an apartment complex and they rent the apartment and there is no handicap parking. For example, that would be an issue that we would take up and look at and kind of work with the managers at the complex to inform them of the law and provide information and let them know that if they do have the required spots available, more people will rent from them, and that's what everybody wants.
Because a lot of times now, if a person was to call the agency and say, well, you know, I don't have a parking space, I like this apartment, but they have no parking space for me, Do they feel like they be in jeopardy of, you know, upsetting the management? I mean, some people don't like to, you know, raise the hair on a person so that they can be comfortable without causing havoc. So how do you address that?
Well, it's mainly education and getting the word out to those. We had a case a couple of years back of an individual who needed a service animal. It was required by their doctor. It helped calm them. The apartment complex required no pets. And so that was just a matter of, and they held firm that we are not going to have any pets, even though the doctor requires and says, yes, you know, they can have this pet. It was just a simple matter of educating the managers and letting them know that there are requirements that come along with a service animal. They have to be clean and, you know, and everything, and just educating the other tenants in the building as well.
Okay. Because actually, if the other tenants see a dog, they would say, well, she's got a dog, why can't I have a dog?
Yeah, and then before you know it, everybody will have it.
So, but a service dog should be obvious, but not always, you know, does everybody look at a service dog as just a service dog to help a person with a disability. They look at, that's a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then you guys have to step in and educate the management team, let them know that this is a law.
This is a law under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is 12 years old now. And there's all civil rights laws that pertain to all sorts of issues, and we would just follow those laws and make sure their rights are protected.
Okay, you know, that's hard to believe that people don't understand some of the laws that protect individuals with disabilities, because actually if you sustain a disability from a car accident and you're living somewhere, a high-rise, and you want to go home, it's no longer an actual home for you because now you need some modifications. So do you all step in if a person needs modifications, you know, after they've had an injury? Yeah,
that's something that we would look at as well, and again, making sure that the apartment complex or the high-rise building unit is aware of the laws that exist and making them know that they do have to provide a reasonable accommodation for them to come in, and any type of building currently that is undergoing major renovations must be conform to the Americans with Disabilities Act.
What about new rental properties, such as like if construction company is currently putting up townhouses or something like that? Do Protection and Advocacy step forward before the actual finish and see if there's any units available for disabled persons, or that's something that could be considered secondary?
That's really secondary, but it would be in the best interest of anybody building a home to make it accessible. For example, you know, if people without disabilities have friends with disabilities, you know, the chances of that individual coming over who uses a wheelchair and actually going into the home or using their bathroom diminishes. And so I think the whole goal of everybody is accessibility and getting into homes.
I would think that with this new century that we would be more accommodating to a lot of the services, you know, from restaurants to hotels to everyday living quarters. And we're not that far, you know, so it's just like the cell phone craze. We have cell phones, but what if a person doesn't have limbs, you know? Can you still use a cell phone, or can you use a phone that's made directly towards the usage for persons with disabilities, you know? So I think some things we don't consider in the manufacturing world as just in case, or what if, or this is another option. You know, we're not into the other options. Tell me a little bit about the CAP program. The
CAP program is designed to help individuals who are receiving services through the Michigan Rehab Services or Career Development Program. And if they are, for example, a client calls MRS, the Michigan Rehab Services, and their services, they don't get the service that they want, they would call the CAP program, the Client Assistance Program, at our agency, and we would assist them and walk them through the process of getting the services that they need under the law.
Okay. So those are reasonable services.
Reasonable services.
Okay. Yes. So people say, "Oh, you can help me do that?" Okay. So so a reasonable service would be what? Transportation. Or?
Transportation, education. For example, if someone calls their counselor and says, you know, I want to start a business. I would like a loan for a business to get moving along. I have the education already, and trying to get that assistance, the counselor says, no, we can't assist you. You don't qualify, and the person does have a disability, then the client would turn around and call us, and we would intervene on that client's behalf.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's a good example for education, because a lot of people feel like, well, you know, I'm already finished school, so now I want to get my own business started, and
Right.
they tell me this agency can help me, and the agency say, no, I'm sorry, we're not in position to help you. What do you mean you're not in position to help me? So now I can call CAP. So CAP actually protects the client's rights.
Correct.
Okay, okay,
Correct.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Any services for seniors, protection for seniors, or?
Right now we're looking at, we're realizing that the population is getting older.
Oh yeah.
And as people get older, there are disabilities that come up. You know, we serve everybody from birth all the way to their 80s, 90s, 100s, or however old that may be. But the seniors we look at nursing homes, go through and making sure that their rights are being provided in the nursing home setting.
Okay. All right.
And
So a family member should be able to contact CAP in reference to their loved ones being placed in a senior citizen?
they can contact the agency, Michigan Protection and Advocacy Service, and they would be able to.
Not CAP, okay.
Right.
Okay.
If their loved one has a disability and currently resides in a nursing home or is trying to get into some sort of day program, we can assist them with that issue.
Okay. So how many different levels of programming are there? Because it must be like several different programs or so that you guys operate under.
Yeah, we have 7 different programs that we run, so to speak. But the callers calling in really aren't aware of the internal structure of the agency. One of the things that we really want to stress is we serve everybody.
Okay.
And go from there.
Okay. So, but when we say everybody, we're saying persons with disabilities,
Correct.
senior citizens, and their ages from 0 all the way up
To the expire.
to the expiration. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hate to say it like that, people, but you know, at least we do know that you're covered. There's no cutoff time. We have some programs that cut you off when you're 21, when you're 65, when you're 62. So this way, we're not cut off at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Tom, we're going to go to a commercial break, come back and talk about these brochures and more information from the Michigan Protection and Advocacy Services Incorporated. We'll be right back.
Come on, David. Come on, David. Let's go, David. Come on.
Come on, David. You got the love.
Get as involved in your kids' education as in everything they do, and imagine the success they might find. Stay in touch with the teacher. Visit the school. For more tips, call 1-800-281-1313.
Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence, for Just As, and welcome back to the second half of the show. For those of you who are just now joining us, we have Tom Massa. He is the deputy director. I'm sorry, not deputy director. He is the director of public policy for Michigan Protection and Advocacy Services Incorporated. Okay, now getting back to the real good stuff, because I know people who are going to watch this show are going to call.
Right.
So I know you guys are nonprofit.
We are a nonprofit agency. We get a little bit of state money and some federal money. But all of our services, we have various mandates that we serve everybody with a disability. They can access our main office in Lansing. We have an 800 number. We have a website. We accept collect calls. Any way we can.
Okay. Well, let's start off with the 800 number.
Okay.
I think the world would like that. Okay. So what's your 800 number?
It is 1-800-288-5923.
Okay.
And give us a call and we'll help you out.
Okay, well that's a good thing, because a lot of people, you know, they're concerned about having questions and they don't know who to call and when to call. Now the 1-800 number, is that a Michigan toll number? Okay.
Yeah, that is a Michigan number. And one thing I do want to point out is that if someone does call us and it's not an issue that we can assist them with, then we make every effort to point them in the right direction.
Okay.
So if someone has a disability, but it's not really falls within what we do, we will assist them still in getting them in the right direction.
So they don't feel bad. So let's have that number again.
Okay, it's 1-800-288-5923.
Okay, okay. And since we know we have some web people out there,
Yes.
what's the web?
It's a very good website, by the way. It's www.mpas.org.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me ask you something about these brochures here on the table. So I'm going to start off with what can we do for you? So this particular brochure here, if someone was to call you or ask for some literature, what would they find in this brochure?
That brochure kind of gives a real brief overview of the agency and how we can assist them. And it also lists the various funding sources, the protection and advocacy for people with developmental disabilities, protection and advocacy for individuals with mental illness. So those are some internal structures in how we get our money and everything. But the main gist of that is detailing the services that we provide through trainings and workshops, legal representation, technical assistance.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you got to call these people, because I'm looking at this information here, and even I'm curious about some of these services. So I'm going to highly recommend that you call that 1-800 number and ask these nice people some questions about what they can do for you, okay? So like you said, the 1-800-288-5923 number, you know, and then they have a web, the 3 W's .mpas.org. Okay, so you web lovers, now you're going to go on the web and look. Okay, those of us who don't have computers, don't worry about it. Use the 800 number.
Yes.
But this brochure looks good.
Thank you.
Okay, it really looks good, and hopefully you'll get some calls. If you don't call them, call us, and we'll forward the information. Okay.
Okay.
We're here to help. Okay, the exchange. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is how we got to find out about you guys. I get the exchange in the mail, and is this a quarterly?
Yes, it is a quarterly publication. It's free. All they have to do is call the 800 number, log on to our website, and give us their name and address, and we'll put them on the list.
Okay.
And they'll get all the happenings.
It's real good. I've had a chance to breeze through and read some of the articles and stuff. And this lovely couple on the front got married. Okay. And do you know the story about this couple?
Yeah. There was some issues, some old guardianship laws that were very archaic, and we worked to change those laws and to allow those individuals to get married.
Okay.
And we were successful in
now this
the
couple
court issue.
both are mental. Is it Down syndrome or something? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
on
on
a mental issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure on their exact disability, but one of the parents who happened to be their guardian said no, you know, she cannot get married, and she really wanted to get married, and so they ended up getting married. They're from
Okay.
Well, really
Jerome and Holly, congratulations. Okay, so that's a good thing. See, there are people out there that can help you. So, you know, if they had to come to your agency to seek help to get married, okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, because I think a lot of times people think, well, you know, this person has a disability, they have no business being married, they have no business having children. Well, I'm not going to say yay or nay, but one thing about it, whoever the voice is not going to live forever.
Right. And it's everybody's individual choice.
You know, if you're not going to live forever, how are you going to dictate what's going to happen to that person when you're gone? So, you know, you want to give a person an opportunity to have a full life, and if it means being married, having children, or living away from home, then it should be granted. Okay, and that's a given. So what's in this here right here?
This is a packet of information that we typically hand out when we do exhibits or trainings, and it has, as you can see, the exchange.
Okay.
Our brochure, also a list. When will we help you? When will MPAS represent me? There's also a publications list in the back. So it's just all the information in one nice little place for you.
Okay. So, you know what, I'm going to encourage callers to do call, because this much information, you can't go wrong, because you got an answer in here. And yes, I want to be on the list. Okay, you could get this business card, this postcard, and also it's no postage necessary. Don't we always look for the free stuff? Okay, so this way, if you get a prepaid postage mailer, mail it back in, ladies and gentlemen. Call and ask them to send you a package. Then put your name on their mailing list so you can get some monthly or bi-monthly news to know what's going on with the agency and what you can use. Now, I'm going to encourage people to call mainly because even if you're not the person that needs it, you know someone. Okay, and Just Ask want to help get the word out that the Michigan Protection and Advocacy Services is geared to help individuals with disabilities.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the main message we want to send out to people, is that we're here to assist in helping people realize their dream, whether it be getting to work, you know, going to school, owning a house, whatever,
Okay.
we want to do.
Okay.
Let them do it.
Even a good program in reference to HIV/AIDS advocacy program services. So those who have family members or who have fallen victim to HIV, you have a service here that can help you as well.
Correct.
Don't ignore it. Give them a call.
Correct.
Okay. So, because I don't want people to think that we're all about housing issues
No,
here.
no.
But we have other issues to be addressed and services that you can utilize throughout.
Right.
Okay. So you guys must have a pretty big agency.
We do. We have 3 offices. We have an office in Lansing, which is our main office.
Okay.
We have an office in Livonia and an office up in the UP in Marquette.
All right.
So, and all of the offices have an 800 number, but our main number is the 1-800-288-5923.
Okay. And so that means that if they call that number, according to what area they live in, they can go there to that area and get services, or you guys to come down.
Yes, that's one thing that is not widely known. We will travel. For example, if a parent has a kid with a disability going through an IEP through school, special education, an advocate will go attend that IEP process with the parent to help them and educate them on what to expect, what will happen, what's the parent's rights, what's the kid's rights, and walk through that process and help them out. All services are free. So.
Where was that at when I was a kid? Okay. Well, my mother did a good job. Don't think she did. Okay. That's wonderful. That is a wonderful thing because there's a lot of parents out here struggling with children with various disabilities, and they're trying to do it all themselves, and you can't.
No, you can't.
And not to say that the other stations have not been helpful, but when you call a television station and say, can you come out here and see me about my kid not having transportation to school, I don't think they had a chance or even knew to contact Protection and Advocacy Services. Right. So when they asked the other station people to come out and help, and they show it on TV, that's getting the message out that there's someone out there, but they didn't seek out the service agency that could help. Okay.
Yeah, and we also investigate abuse and neglect charges in state institutions, group homes, any type of community living arrangements. We have access authority to walk in and investigate. So we monitor state hospitals as well. So
that's a good one.
So we do everything. Wherever an individual resides, we can go in and assist them.
Yeah, see, if you just don't drop a person off at a place and think that it's safe, this is the new home, and you come by and see them and they look nice, and you pull the sheet back and they got a bruise somewhere. Okay, then because people don't think who they should call, they just think they should call the directors of that facility and ask for a meeting and say, why does my father have this bruise on his hip? You know, and then the staff comes in, oh, I think he fell. Okay. But you guys...
Yeah, they can give us a call and we will send a staff member out to investigate and look at the whole process and work with them to resolve it.
So you can't get any better than that,
no.
You know. you really can't get any better than that, you know. And I'm really glad, you know, you came to tell us about your services, because a lot of times we're under the impression when we see a title that it only works, you know, when there's a lot of money involved, or if it's a major issue, you know, that represent a lot of people at one time. So like the ramp services and things, we don't think that one individual at a time can get help.
Yeah, and they can, and you know, I guess can't stress enough how important it is to. One of the things that we do on a daily basis is just help people realize their individual dreams. You know, whether it be education, employment, we assist them in whatever choices they make. We'll help them.
Wonderful. Now, in your office, is there a combination of workers with disabilities in there too?
Yes.
And you know they fight for you.
Diverse group. We're a diverse group.
Right. Look, if you call and a person that has a disability in there, they're like, okay, we're gonna help you. And it's not to pinpoint them out, but it, you know, puts sheds a different light on it.
It does.
You know, because people with disabilities want to make sure that another person with a disability has the same rights or accommodations as he or she has received. Yeah. I enjoy seeing the various persons with disabilities involved with wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, or getting on the bus, you know, going to work, holding down a job, you know, you name it. they have the right just like anyone else. And I often hear people say, I just want to work, I just want to pay taxes. I'm laughing, you want to pay taxes? but it's important to be a part of the community, you know,
Right.
and you know, rain, sleet, and snow. If you want to get out there, you get out there. Because on the average, society doesn't realize that people with disabilities are some of your best workers.
They are.
You know, they're dedicated because,
underutilized.
look, they know that they're out here to do a service and they want to maintain getting out and everything. You have an option like, oh, today is not a good day to go to work. It's snowing. You know,
Yeah.
right. A person with disability gets up extra early, gets the ride in order, have themselves ready to go and go.
Yes.
Okay, so I think that we should really start to open up our doors and be more acceptable to what's going on in the community with the service agencies that help us out.
Yeah.
You know, and the people who really want to work, give them the opportunity to do work. You know, so not
Exactly.
just young people anymore. You know, it's everybody.
Yes, with downsizing going on and more things are opening up. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know,
Get people in
we
there.
should learn to take the risk.
yeah.
We should learn to take the risk. So I'm going to give out the
Okay.
you'd be more happy to give out the 1-800 number again.
Okay. It's 1-800-288-5923.
Okay, and web.
The web is www.mpas.org,
Okay.
and we also collect calls as well.
Okay. You should. Did you hear that? You heard that. Okay, collect calls so I can see it now. We're at a payphone. I'm going to try it for everybody. I'm going to make the first collect call, and I'm going to ask for time.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if that works. But I'm sure it does. If you say you take collect calls, we believe
Yes.
that you
Yes,
take
we
collect
do.
calls, and
We
that's
do.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. See, so people, let's give these agencies a hand, because if you can call someone agency collect or 1-800 or look on the web, what more can we ask for? And if they can represent you, whether it's education, housing, parental services, marriage, all that, what other services do we need? Okay, so let's not try to overwhelm ourselves with who can help me when we know the agencies that can help us, and this is one of them. Okay, well, Tom, I tell you what, I want to ask you to come back again and see
Thank
us
you,
here,
yes.
and keep us posted of all the good things that
Yeah.
Protection and Advocacy Services does. Please tell Elmer Sereno we say hello, and
I certainly will.
we look forward to having him back as
Oh,
well.
thank
and
you
the
for
rest
having
of the
us.
staff there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I can't preach the gospel any further that how good this agency's services are, and the other agencies as well that you had a chance to hear us talk about or you have seen. But I want you to know that we are here for you, and the services that you are interested in, give us a call at the Just As hotline, 248-988-0250, 248-988-0250. Also, don't forget, we've added another type of programming. We got a food show now, so we're going to ask a cook to come and join us once a month and show us how to prepare a good meal less than 30 minutes. Can you imagine that? A good, healthy meal less than 30 minutes? And we need for you, as our viewers, to help us name the show. So far, we got Just As presents Light and Easy Cooking. It's the cooking. So if that's not a good enough title, why don't you go ahead and implement a new title for us, and someone can win this beautiful basket that was donated to us from Autobahns gift basket. So, okay. Get the address and the phone number, give us a call or drop us a postcard. And you know who I am. I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. And what do I always say? If you know someone with a disability, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. Thank you.